Hello again, Ian Stuckey with Mastermind Games, back with Reciprocators from the Convergence of Cyriss faction of Warmachine. Plate mail metal? Yes. So the Reciprocators are heavy infantry, defensive in nature with the shield wall ability, and as with all Convergence heavy infantry, they have variable weapons, in this case melee, choosing from empowered attack for a damage bonus, or set defense to give themselves a defensive bonus against charge and slam attacks. Using a fairly large brush. And the Convergence of Cyriss are cultists of a goddess of science and technology that put their souls into robot bodies. So, Reciprocators would be one of the heavy chassis. More or less a supersized and more durable and powerful version of their Obstructors, which are light infantry with similar abilities but a lower point cost. And while the Obstructors do not have damage boxes, the Reciprocators have 8 apiece. I'm going to be picking out a lot of details in other colors later. And this is a 5 entity unit. Kind of makes it awkward to use gender-based pronouns when the character is of a genderless robot, which raises questions of would it even matter what one's original gender was once you go down this route. There was a Warhammer 40,000 book, I believe Imperator, I think, where one member of the cult Mechanicus is so heavily cybernetic that V uses gender-neutral pronouns, which I thought was a typo at first, and that V actually forgot V's original gender. Yeah, they used pronouns with the letter V. It does raise interesting questions. Alright. Well, I'm starting to drop frames again, but I'm just about done here. One of these days I'm going to figure out why my system keeps doing this, but till then I just have to roll with it. Alright. And that's the first base coat. I just need to apply to the other models, and now move on from there. Alright, next up. Yeah, tarnished brass. No. Still gonna be old bronze 09197. I had to think for a minute. Been a while since I've done a convergence model. I need a finer brush than that after all, actually. So. Oh boy. Getting moving. So first off, I'm hearing my system doing funny things, but I'm getting the moving parts on this, like the hands. And this is a pose where the Protean's, what is it, halberd spear, something like that, is in its spear mode. But this brush may not be the most suitable. It seems a bit too flexible. You need some stiffness. But okay. So the steel is going to be on the hard plates of the armor. The bronze on the more mobile pieces like gears, such as these coming out of the shoulders. as well as this piston, for lack of a better word, on the inside. But there is an elbow shield here. And then biggest one is going to be the abdomen here, this bed grip, this assembly. Yeah. And then the upper portion of the leg, ending just above the knee here. Oh, well, that sucked. And then this piston going down the calf, which likely the equivalent of a hamstring, but necessary to give articulation there. Back behind the knee as a gear. And let's see. I'm going to put a little of this on the pole arm itself, on the extended sections, which are not going to be visible on the other models. Okay, then this mechanism just below the point, which will be operated via a catch in the polearm itself, so that the reciprocator can switch it between its spear and axe modes. And that's not bad, so I'll apply that to the rest and let it dry. Alright, time to shade. Blackened steel 09205. Gonna thin this into a wash with 1 part water to 1 part paint, at least in most cases. A fair bit of this because I have 5 whole models to go over. Now darker colors, like straight black, you'll need 2 to 3 parts water, 1 part paint. So it does vary a bit, but generally 1 to 1. Let's start on the head now. When thinned properly, this will go into the recessed areas and darken them. Which, when you combine it with your highlight, will help the lowest areas look darker and the highest areas look brighter. With your base coats, the first layers of paint, you'll go from the lowest point on the model to the highest. The shade, you want to go highest to lowest. Highlight, lowest to highest. I should mention I do my own color scheme. It's something of a variant of the official for Retribution, but, or not Retribution, Convergence. Oh boy. Thinking of the wrong faction. Alright. But that said, I do have a little bit of Retribution as well. Not really stuff I picked up more by random chance and deliberately, so not a faction I actively do, but I'll flesh it out eventually after my main factions get just about everything I want for them. Now with what I said about starting low to high, high to low, low to high, in the case of these reciprocators, it was more expedient to, since this steel is the main color, to just do the whole thing at first and then pick out some of the lower areas after. So, more of a guideline than a rule. Okay, hearing bad noises from my computer. I just am incredibly paranoid about that right this minute. Making sure to get all surfaces on the shield, and we'll be picking out some lighting effects later, but that's done after the shading. Okay, let that dry and move on to the next. Just to apply this to the rest of the models off camera. Okay, aged Pewter 09196. That got a little out of hand. Going over the bronze here. Going for a nice, even coat. Looks like that steel's still wet, but that's okay. A little more there. And get the mechanism here. And let that dry. Next, prepping some lighting effects with matte white. Oh, grab the wrong brush there. Okay, we're going to try to thin this out a bit and do this as a sort of a wash in this case. So that's alright. You'll see how the area, when done properly, is practically soaking up the paint. Okay. Let's see, and then back. And these construct bodies, these clockwork vessels, are actually powered by the soul that inhabits them. The body being efficient enough that it doesn't actually do any harm to the soul that inhabits it, as it does not drain so much of the soul's vitality that it actually causes damage before the soul can replenish itself. Big cry from how Cricks and other factions handle souls. Okay. That's the prep work. Move on when it's dry. Okay. Lighting effects. Pixie pink. I somewhere along the line went with pink lighting for my convergence because, one, I do the light blue with my Sigma, and I want to do something different, and two, this offsets the overall dark color scheme I do here quite nicely. So I'm thinning this out with 2 to 3 parts water per 1 part paint. You always need to thin out your lighting effects more than typical. And then the key is for some of the white to keep showing through. Okay, just going over the white I did earlier. And it goes past. That's fine now. It gives the impression that this is in fact glowing. I will be adding the highlight in over this, so we need to get this first. Apply the rest, and when it's dry I can do my highlights, detail, and finish up. Okay, highlighting, Tarnished Brass 09198. Actually, I'll do this on one of the Spear Mode guys since it stands out a little more. Dry brushing technique, so ragged feathered brush, something like this. No water, straight paint only. Rubbing most of the paint out on a paper towel till it looks like there's nothing left. Then lightly dusting the area to be affected So I'm going to use a conventional highlight on the weapons only, and then do something a little different for the actual soldier, the actual clockwork vessel. Going against sharp edges. Okay. So apply that to the rest, and then move on in a minute. Next, True Silver 09207. Again, this is just going on the weapon, not the actual clockwork vessel. Which of the convergence is this type of soldier, the soul in a jar robot body deal there. And I'm focusing on those readily visible surfaces only, so just the blades. I think I just slaughtered the English language there. Okay. Now the shield I'll do to match the body, so come back to that in a minute after I take care of the other soldiers. Alright, Scorched Metal 09125. I'm going to need a fair amount of this as this is going on all of them. I didn't put on too much. It's getting hard to come by. Again, focusing on the most readily visible surface. This is a sort of metallic dark brown. It's also good for making something look rusty. Okay. Apply that to the others and move on. Next, Gunmetal Blue 09126. That's a dark metallic blue. And it's plugged up. So, paper clip down the nozzle. Go. Kind of. Seems to be running a little thin. Alright, I'll figure it out later. It's okay. I think I've got enough to do what I need to do here. Just need to get an appropriate brush. There's one. Should be okay. And this is the leader model here. And I just realized I forgot part of the lighting effect on his shoulders, but you know what? That's okay, he can be a little different. Not too much on the inside of the shield. Okay. Apply that to the rest, and that's going to be it for highlighting. And I can move on to basing. starting on the base. Base? What the heck? Rainy Gray 09038. Which is about shot. Correction is shot. That's okay, trying this again. Rainy Gray. Switch to a flathead. Sorry about that. And going across the base, so because Warmachine relies on a distinct front arc, determine facings through which you can make attacks and get an advantage against models when attacking them in their back arc. I'm going to first overextend a bit, then go back after this dries and backfill to get the correct shape. Alright, there's the start. Apply the rest and move on. Okay, so I did a second layer of that gray, and now I've got this guy on a self-healing cutting mat put out by Privateer Press with the markings for the arcs. So, I'm going to take matte black. I'm going to finish the arcs. Using two different brushes. First, a fine one. And I'm just going to carefully mark out the edge here on both sides. There we go. And then I'm going to switch to a flathead. Clean it up. Being careful to avoid the feet of the model. Okay. Apply this to the rest, and then there'll be one more step before I actually put the basic material on. Okay, last step before the basing material is to number them. Matte white. And using Roman numerals and letters, following what's kind of on the reference card. Okay, a little twitch right here. Unit 1, Model A. And this brush is about shot. Excuse me. Because these are field allowance too, so I will eventually get another one. Excuse me, something stuck in my throat. 1B. This is not easy because of how flexible the brush is. One C. One D. Unit 1, Model E. Once that dries, I can add sand to the base, and just about done. Second to last step, white glue, plenty of it. Diluting with water. And you can use a brush you're more or less going to sacrifice and just mix it all up. Keep the brush nice and wet. I want this looking fairly smooth. And taking the model and carefully brushing it in and around the feet. And this style of base is nice because it has a little lip that acts as a reservoir for this stuff. Now that noise you might be hearing from the other room is just I've got a movie going. I'm just doing this in between watching something low budget and something that's pretending to be scary for Halloween since it is October. And now that's all full in. I'm going to take my base material, in this case sand, and just give her a dip. And using a spare brush that is dry, but not one of my best ones, I'm going to push the excess away from areas I don't want. I don't know how this got up that far on the leg. But I want the material on the base, not on the feet. It's the crux. Okay, that's got it. So I'll apply to the rest. Put a little bit more right there. But I will need to seal it, so apply to the rest, move on once this has had a chance to set. Okay, last step. Taking scenic cement, which is a sprayer brush on adhesive, and a glass eyedropper. The glass component is important. This stuff will bond to a plastic eyedropper very quickly. Just carefully dripping onto the base. You want to give it time to set first, otherwise this will simply push your macing material around. You want it to absorb in, and this will give it a rock hard finish. And keep the material on the base and not going into your box or whatever you use to store it in. Okay. Any shouting you hear is from another movie I've started for background noise in between takes while I'm working on other projects. And this is just, again, just sand. It's like $10 for a giant bag, so a little bit will last a good long while. Oh, I guess I'm done already. Okay, clean out thoroughly. Always clean your eyedropper out thoroughly. And that's it. a full unit of Convergence of Cyriss Reciprocators. And I've got more Warmachine coming up after a while. I wanted to do these for a specific event I'm participating in. I'm going to be switching back to Malifaux for a while, so until then, I am Ian Stuckey with Mastermind Games, signing out.